This is what I think I see.
The other day, I watched that meeting and I never got to know.
That's okay. That's okay. You did all right.
Young, but they never sent me nothing before, and I said, still can't get pretty tight.
I had somebody tell me that they found materials built over ranch.
So you know, I live next to
Madison? All right, I thought you were, but I don't know. Yes, there is. Yep, there's three there.
Yeah, because I committee meeting that day, damn fine. I don't forget, but
that's
they
okay,
never sent
Kenny.
nothing out no more.
Well, I get mine upside down in the mail. The agenda was like this on my tablet.
I didn't get nothing.
You put it in that project folder.
what it is. What piece of
Is that what you sent me the other night? I didn't say it.
I didn't have to think about it. There's two of us. I said, she told me, she said, when she heard about it, she said,
Yeah, you just shoot that to me. It's easy for you. Thank you.
what is it? I don't know.
That is from the Economic Development Corporation here in Shelby Co, Madison Gilbert. She's going to be presenting that to us tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like a hole. We did this stuff.
So, those two. That one. Hey, Lynn.
Rescue squad, I
Okay, I will put it in here. Second Monday in February. Yeah. Hold on just a second. When is the board meeting? The 10th that month?
Yes.
Okay, I might have a little Creek meeting this morning. No. Okay, okay. That's better. Okay. 7th at 6 p.m.
Hey, Lynn, can he come to the next one? Is he available for the dive team rescue squad and all the knowledge he has about funding? Okay.
7 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Six. The dive team and rescue squad.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, they.
I see that.
Do you know when the next meeting is, or they?
Yeah, it's second Monday, 6 p.m.
Okay.
It's a little after 7, 1 after. We're going to call this meeting to order. First thing is call order, right? And then prayer and pledge of allegiance. Because I'm used to what I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rod Height's going to give the prayer tonight.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Father, we thank you. In your word, it says in 1 Timothy chapter 2, that, Father, we're supposed to lift up, pray, and intercede for leaders and everyone that's governing authority over us. And, Father, we lift them up tonight, Father, so that we may live a peaceable life. And, Father, that all men would come to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Father, we just lift up this meeting to you tonight, Father, that everything will be done to benefit the citizens of our county. And Father, we just praise you and thank you now in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Kitty Barr.
Here.
Barbara Bennett.
Here.
Mark Bennett.
Here.
Teresa Bain.
Here.
Paul Canday. Brian Kaufman.
Here.
Dennis Durbin.
Here.
Jesse Durbin.
Here.
Julie Edwards.
Here.
Gary Gergety.
Here.
Rod Height.
Here.
Larry Lenz.
Yes.
Sharon Ongman.
Here.
Robert Orman.
Here.
Gary Patterson.
Here.
Derek Piercy.
Here.
Robert Simpson.
Here.
Jeff Slifer.
Here.
David Switz. Don Tate.
Here.
Glenn Williams.
Here.
We have a quorum. Number 3, approval of minutes from the December 9th regular meeting. Anybody like to make a motion to approve those? Barb, second. Teresa, any discussion or changes? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, then approval of minutes from the special board meeting of December 20th. Motion? Second. Carried. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Move forward to public body comment now. Anybody body comment? Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just like to give everybody a little update on changes in local health departments and their role in the pandemic. We're now 22 months into the pandemic, and local health departments across the state are being de-employed, basically. We're being charged with a new mission. Our mission is to basically to take care of the nursing homes and congregate settings and assisted living complexes. We'll also work with our schools and with our businesses. The state health department will, effective tomorrow, across the state, will do contact tracing on all the positive COVID cases across the state. Anybody have any questions? This will probably change the report. We won't have the information that we currently provide to department heads and to the county board. But we'll eventually get you some report with numbers. They just won't be that comprehensive. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Yes. Yes, Madison.
Bruns.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Madison Bruns. I'm the manager at the Shelby County Farm Bureau office. As farmers, we take great care of our land and livestock, but sometimes it's easy for us to forget to take care of ourselves. The CDC says that farmers are among those who are at greatest risk of dying by suicide, and the Shelby County Farm Bureau is here to remind you to take care of yourself first. A healthy farm needs a healthy you. Shelby County Farm Bureau and Shelbyville Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center have partnered to bring in Dr. Josie Rodolfi, an assistant professor at University of Illinois, for an engaging morning discussion on reducing the stigma related to mental health, accompanied with a biscuits and gravy breakfast catered by Lisa's Cafe here in Shelbyville. We hope you'll consider joining us on January 20th from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. at Shelby Christian Church. And we do ask that RSVPs be due to our office tomorrow, January 14th, so that we can ensure we'll have plenty of food and plenty of space to be able to spread out. Additionally, it's the time of year for us to host our annual winter meeting series, and we still have room for you to RSVP for those as well. There are 4 meetings left, and that includes drainage districts. What are they? What is their purpose? How do they work? And why are they making a comeback? Second is the livestock processing and what we can do as producers to be progressive and be prepared if another slowdown in processing should ever hit our community again. Third is on carbon sequestration and carbon markets. And fourth is our Rules of the Road program, which is a program that's going to showcase trucking laws, old and new. And finally, the Illinois Department of Agriculture will be requiring all growers and grower farm operators who transport or apply anhydrous ammonia or otherwise maintain anhydrous ammonia equipment to be certified before April 1st of 2022. You can get your certification for free online or in person, and the Shelby County Farm Bureau is hosting an in-person meeting on February 10th. And it's pretty easy to get RSVP'd for that. Just call our office and we'll write your name down. So I have a few flyers with me tonight that goes over all those details I just mentioned with the dates, times, registration info. And these meetings are always free to Farm Bureau members. If you're not a Farm Bureau member, I'd be happy to discuss a membership with you after this meeting or at another time at my office. We're located just across from the Shelbyville High School. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Madison. All right. Any other public body comment? Yes.
I have one thing. I was just curious, why are the special meetings held at 9 a.m. instead of 7 a.m.?
Cannot
Or
answer
7
that.
p.m.?
Cannot answer that. It's just the way it's been.
Who schedules those meetings?
Everybody sends in something. That's what we put in.
I was under the impression that when I was appointed, that the meetings were, we voted, the majority of the board voted to have the meetings at 7 p.m. And then when they're held at 9 a.m., there's a lack of representation because people have to work, people have obligations during the day, and therefore county members, or board members, taxpayers, are not represented if the entire board can't be there. So I just wondered if we could possibly consider maybe having them at 7.
We can consider it.
I mean, is that how further it's going to go? There's no discussion about it? Like, how, I mean, I'm asking...
This is public body comment, public body
Sure.
discussion.
And I'm asking, as a taxpayer, how those special meetings get scheduled.
We come up with a date and time.
So when the board members that are called a special meeting, they establish a date, time, location.
So it's at their convenience, not the taxpayers, or the public body, or the majority of the board's convenience.
Martha Bernhaber, taxpaying citizen. To piggyback Julie's comment, which was one of the things I had, I contacted Jessica after the last special meeting to ask in her time and tenure as, in her position, which has been roughly 20 years-ish, correct me if I'm wrong, Jessica.
I've just
Up-
worked here 20 years.
What's that?
I said, I've just worked here 20 years.
What?
I've been clerk for 20 years, so.
20 years, okay, worked here, sorry. But in those first 20 years, there was one special county board meeting, and that had to do with the preservation project on the courthouse here. In 2021 alone, we had 5, there were 5, not we, you all, had 5 special meetings. There was a push to move these meetings to 7 o'clock at night so constituents could attend, and that was for a reason. So I understand whoever's requesting a special meeting can request it time and day. I would ask you all as board members, if that request comes in for 9 a.m., to say you're happy to attend a meeting, but do it at the same time of night that the regular board meetings are, because people that work full-time jobs up there on the board cannot make those 9 a.m. meetings, and then the constituents that are represented within their districts have no representation, and that's not really fair. And the taxpaying citizens, the majority, I understand we have graphic paper and all that, I get that, but the majority cannot make it at 9 a.m. if they have full-time jobs. And 5 meetings in 1 year, to me, kind of points to the fact that there might be a little bit of an issue with planning, meeting, discussing whatever on you all's part. 5 special meetings, emergency meetings, whatever you want to call them in a year, to me as a taxpaying citizen is a problem. There's something going on if we have to have 5 special meetings in a year. That's not right. I'm asking you all, each and every one of you, to do your job, do it in a timely manner, have the discussions. If you have your committee meetings, have them, but be prepared in this meeting to get done what the taxpaying citizens need to have done, please. In regards to item number 7 and $4,600, $4,650 being paid to a new EDC website, I don't think the county has a website right now. I don't think as a citizen, I can go out and pull an agenda anywhere. I think I either have to request it from Jessica or a board member or somebody else. I think before you all start spending money of the taxpayers for an EDC website, let's get the county website up and running. Let's have some place for the constituents and the taxpayers of the county to go and see stuff. I know when I was on city council at one point that the city, along with the county, funded money towards a new website. That was 4 years ago. Here we are today and we're still funding a new website. I would ask for consideration on a yes vote there. Last thing I'd like to address is item number 16 and the hiring of a new auditor. It's my understanding that the auditor out of Bolingbrook, Illinois, which as a reminder is not in Cook County, it's not Chicago, has provided a bid. That firm would have known about what's going on in Shelby County because they also bid on the forensic audit a couple years ago, 1.5 years ago, whenever that's been. It's my understanding that the second bidder comes out of Sterling, Illinois, which is further away from Shelbyville than Bolingbrook, by the way. Just curious, because I don't believe, and Jessica, you can confirm, I don't believe that we advertised that far north. I understand how the Bolingbrook firm knew and has information about what's going on down here and why they might bid. I'm just curious what the connection is to an outfit in Sterling, Illinois, and how they heard what's going on down here. And lastly to that is, bottom dollar does not mean the best contract. I'm hoping that you all have read those in depth. You know what's in fine print. You know what we're paying for in their initial bid and what's going to be charged, and I'm going to call it a la carte for lack of a better phrase. A la carte. Just because somebody is a low bidder today does not mean that they're going to cost us the least amount of money. And I'm going to go back to the fact that for years now, the auditors that Shelby County has had have made recommendations, findings, and they've been ignored and ignored and ignored. And at some point, this board needs to hold itself accountable to dealing with those findings so that for the taxpayers, the cost of these audits are reduced. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public? Yep, I see a hand up there, back there.
I'm a taxpayer. I'm saying yea and amen to what Martha just said. I want to say that at the special meeting, which being a night owl, not an early morning person, is tough, but you're not here to serve me in that respect. But I noticed a number of board members couldn't be here, my understanding being employment. So I do think you're doing us, taxpayers, a disservice when you've already voted to make it 7 p.m. to change the time for the special meetings. And I want to say ditto on the auditor. I saw the gal's presentation on the forensic part. She's one crackerjack auditor. And we need crackerjack. We are so pathetically behind by not following what our auditors have said and other practices. We need help. So I'm going to ask you to also consider maybe their bid's a little bit more, but maybe it's going to be a lot better. Thank you.
Any further public body comment? Yes, sir.
My name's Kevin McKittrick, local resident. I want to ask a question to the board members if you'll participate here. Who had the opportunity to review and read Mr. Piercy's legal opinion that was presented at the December meeting? Any hands? Anybody read it?
What was it about?
Huh?
What was the opinion? Just tell me a little more.
The legal opinion Derek Piercy presented
The
at
one
the
with
December
several...
about outsourcing payroll.
Yes, I did read all those.
Yeah. Anybody else? Not very many hands, so apparently not much has changed. That's too bad, because that was a good read. That was some good material. And I don't know how you're going to refute it. It is what it is. It gets right to the point. You know, finding of facts, conclusions of law, right to the, it was just right to the point. You can't outsource this. Nicole, did you read it? I heard you had it in your possession a week or two before the meeting. What was your take? He was asked.
I disagree, and I am giving the board a written opinion. This
Yeah.
is a busy month.
Well, I want to see that.
They'll have it before the next meeting.
Yeah.
I disagree.
I told Derek this morning, hell, if I read that, I think I'd sign that puppy, Alan Dershowitz, because that's good. And I know a little bit about research and law, and I mean, that has the full force and effect of law. I don't know how it can be refuted, but I'm awaiting your opinion.
Okay, we'll see.
And then the way it was handled by Mr. Switz and the follow-up was disgusting. I'm disappointed that the chair didn't nix it in the bud immediately. I mean, he just went after and attacked Derek when he had no lack of knowledge of basic principles of law. And what he said made him look as a fool, you know, because everything, he didn't have a clue what he was saying, didn't know. I think it's one of them situations where, what is it, remain silent and thought a fool is to speak and remove all doubt, and getting about half a hothead. What's that all about? If you people can't sit in here and debate, discuss, and speak with your fellow board members in a respectful and civil tone, you have no business being in here whatsoever, period. And maybe Mr. Switz is to that point, maybe he ain't cut out for this job. You know, it's just basic principles here of law, and it just ceases to amaze me how you move and manipulate and just ignore these facts of law. We've got a lot more, but I don't have the time, but we'll get with it at future dates. I gave you another example of this lack of understanding of law. This happened about a year ago. It seemed like most meetings, somebody asked the question, where is this authorized by law that we can take this action? Very seldom it gets answered because there's not an answer. But one meeting about a year ago, it wasn't. A comment was made by a board member, and I'm going to mention no names, it's irrelevant. But when asked that question, the gentleman said, where in the statute does it say we can't do it? Where does it say we can't do it? Well, now, we've been making law for like 240 years, and in that law, state or federal, will you not find where it tells you what you can't do? That's not the way law works. You know, they made it easy for you, and they simplified it. They just told you what you can and must do. Because being a government of, by, and for the people, funded by taxpayers,
You got a pretty narrow scope is what your duties are and what you must do. And same way with the money, it's a pretty tight leash. So it's pretty simple stuff. But it seemed like this board just gets it so complicated and they debate and discuss. Very disappointing, very unprofessional. On behalf of David, I don't like to talk about somebody that's not here, but maybe he can watch the video. I do. But I know what I perceive and see. And everything that I'm speaking of tonight and commenting is all backed up by audio and video, so I feel comfortable that I'm standing on solid ground. So, that said, I'll continue more at next month's meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other public body comment?
Couple issues. Item number 16, you should probably, as part of your discussion and vote, discuss how much experience the two firms have in auditing, and if there was a bid opening, let people know when that was. Number 7, I find it hard to believe a county that doesn't even have its own website is going to pay another organization so they can get a new website. It's not hard to make a website. It don't have to be extravagant. It don't have to cost $50,000. You can make generic websites with general information, board member names, meeting dates, meeting agendas, ordinances, things like that on a generic web page for less than $1,000. It's not hard. We have a website we didn't even pay $1,000 for. You can probably tell by looking at it, but the information is there and it's accessible. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Kirk Allen, I want to address a couple of comments, piggybacking off of some of the things Kevin said. I've been attending the farm committee meetings, and I would like to thank the 5 board members for what I've seen as an open dialogue, receptive to input, looking for answers to questions. And when they don't have an answer, they're willing to ask to get the answer. And that's good dialogue. And there's been, I think, in one meeting it got a little tense, but it was managed, it was dealt with in a professional manner, and I think a lot was garnered. Now, the outcome you're looking for may not have been accomplished, but it's clear people are diving into the statutes and reading and asking the right questions. Now, on your agenda tonight, and to that point, you 5 board members, thank you, I commend you for that. On your agenda, you've got to amend the farm budget. Is that something that's going to be acted on tonight? Nobody wants to answer that question. Jeff, your name's on there. Can you answer that question?
I'm sorry, which one did you say?
Your farm committee motion your action item to amend the budget. Is that something you're going to motion this evening?
It'll be acted on.
It will be acted on?
When do we get to it?
Okay. One of the questions that got asked of us was about a loan, taking a loan out to get inputs. You guys can take a loan out. There's a problem. When you get the money from the bank, where do you put it? You put it in the general fund. You can't spend it. You can't spend it because you haven't appropriated it. Can you appropriate it? Statute says you're forbidden from appropriating it in that 1003 section. So I don't know how you get around amending a budget when it says you can't for that particular reason, because it's definitely not an emergency. So I would encourage you rethink taking that action. In regards to the challenge of finding deputies, I gave a copy of this to the sheriff this evening. This is very similar to a fire cadet program, other than we don't get funding for it in the fire department. It's in the county code. The county board of each county may appropriate not more than $10,000 per year for the use of the county sheriff in establishing and maintaining a junior deputy sheriff program for children from 10 to 16 years old. And what that program does, and it's all spelled out, it provides an introduction to those kids to a profession I can say in our fire department, we've had, I believe, a total of 5 that have gone on and got degrees in fire science, but they started out as cadets. And that's the first step in moving to a long-term solution to this problem that you have right now with deputies. You've got to get these kids involved, and that's a way to do it. And there's a funding mechanism there. It takes the county board to act to do it, though. I know the sheriff's got a ton of work trying to do what he's got with such minimal manpower, but with the funding, that can be delegated to put a program together and start to step in the right direction in that. So I would encourage folks to take a hard look at that and move forward with that. My only other comment on the audits, I don't know who was bid. Someone mentioned the people from Bolingbrook. And I don't remember the other place you said the other one was from. What's their experience? How many years have they been doing government audits? Because we've seen some out there that will lowball, and they have no business doing government audits. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sheriff, last thing, we have on here to sell the surplus firearms. I would encourage that you amend that provision that limits who can bid on those. Because you're selling county property, anybody should be able to purchase on that, whatever it is, even if it's a full package, not just a gun dealer. If a person can legally buy a gun, they should be able to bid on that package. Now, most individuals aren't going to bid on a package like that, and will probably go through a gun dealer. But everybody has to be able to have the opportunity to make that purchase. You can't limit who you're going to sell to. Thank you.
Any other public body? Any other public body comment? Any other public body comment? Seeing none, we'll move to number 7. Madison Hilbert. Oh, number 6. I should have marked off. I'm sorry, Matt. We'll go to number 6, appointment of Matt Kessler to District Number 4 upon recommendation of Republican Central Committee. Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Rod Height.
Second.
Paul Kennedy. Discussion? All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Matt. Quit marking stuff off and we'll talk about it. Kessler.
Kessler?
Yes.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. I state your name.
Yeah.
Having been appointed to County Board District 4 in the County of Shelby, in the State of Illinois, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of County Board District 4 to the best of my ability. Congratulations. I need you to sign this form, okay? Thank you.
All right, now that I got done, stop marking off while we're talking about something, we can go to number 7 now. Madison Hilbert, Economic Development Corporation here in Shelby County. Madison, the floor is yours.
Good evening, my name is Madison Hilbert. I've been the Economic Development Director of Shelby County for a few months now. One of the first things that they started me on was website development. The board and I agreed, well, the EDC board and I agreed that Shelby County's economic growth and development, it would be crucial for that to have a website for what it would do directly and indirectly. So most obviously, it would be a resource for businesses and residents who want to move into the area, and it would provide information on taxes, business incentive information, so like TIF districts, zoning regulations, workforce data, contact information for the EDC, the chamber, city and village halls, basically provide as much information as we can. because people who would take advantage of this information would be looking for it and will assume that if they can't find it, it doesn't exist. Therefore, ease of access to information will be helpful in aiding the attraction and retention of businesses and residents for Shelby County. People do loads of research before booking hotels and moving to a house, so I think it only makes sense that they would do the same thing for a county or a town that they were moving to. So with a well-maintained and accessible website, it would help us communicate to these prospects why Shelby County is the best choice, that we want them to move here and we want to make it as easy as possible. What we communicate indirectly is just as important, and search results can be a powerful first impression, whether people realize it or not. Having a professional-looking website sends a message to potential residents and businesses that we're a serious and professional organization as an economic development corporation. However, if you Google Shelby County, Illinois right now, the search results don't look promising. What you have is an extremely outdated website that's been under construction, and the most recent news, aside from the EMA, is from 2013, about 2 years ago. Then you get a Wikipedia page, and then a Secretary of State page, and then an outdated Facebook page, and so on and so forth with unhelpful information. If you Google Shelbyville, Illinois, it's a little bit more helpful thanks to our tourism office who keeps that website pretty well updated, but it tells about the same story, and there's not much helpful information on there either, especially for businesses and residents that would be looking to move here. So it's not that minimal search results send no message, it's that they don't send a good message or the right one. In order to send a message that we are actively pursuing economic growth, we need to actively pursue economic growth, and ease of access to information and marketing will be a huge part of that. One of the first steps towards creating momentum is building this website, which will give the good and correct impression that our Shelby County EDC is focused on enhancing our economy and our quality of life. So, with all of this in mind, I think it's clear that the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation should have a website. And you might think that we should just DIY it and use GoDaddy and save some money, but in this instance, that would not be the right way to go. Shelby County is a very large county with 11 small towns and villages, if I'm correct, and we should have a page for each of them with subsections for whatever information they would want to provide to attract residents and businesses to their own towns. And that would be way too complicated for one person to do that doesn't have any experience building a website, to make it easy to navigate and make it look professional at the same time. So I spent some time researching different companies, and I landed on Imagine This Marketing Group for several reasons. I researched their work, and everything they've done looks very professional and well-designed, and their websites are easy to navigate, and that's what's in your folders if you look through that. Of the developers I looked into, this company provides the best quality for the most reasonable price. They would build a website, do branding, some photography, and host it for $9,300, which sounds like a lot, but just to compare, one that I looked at in Champaign, which was the closest in price, would have charged 3 times as much, which would have been $12,000 for a website and $18,000 for branding. For a product that didn't even seem to match the quality of the company that we would like to go with. One indicator provided similar quality, but would have charged around $60,000. Imagine This does just as great work with their website development, and their branding looks really good. So I think that they're the best ones to go with. So I can take you through the proposal, which all of the board members have. To build a custom website, it would be $6,800. They would do a complete design and development in a system that's easy for clients to manage, which would be me as the EDC director. I would keep it updated. They would give us PDF mock-ups for design approval, test site for final approval before they launch the whole website, and then the navigation and content would be designed to support business attraction and retention for Shelby County. And we can put whatever pages we want on there, so about Shelby County, regional community profile for each town, things like that. You can do, it'll be mobile friendly, so you can get to it from your phone or your tablet, which I wouldn't be able to do if I did it from GoDaddy, because that's more high tech than I would be able to do. They will push our search results to the top of they would push Shelby County, Illinois to the top of the search results, which is called search engine optimization. And then we would own all of the website content and design, so they wouldn't have any of the rights to it. We would. For photography to put on the website and use for branding purposes would be $900 for a full day session. We would maintain the rights to all of the imagery, and we can use the images for whatever we want to, for more marketing for Shelby County, and they would include basic editing in that too. makes our website look all the more professional. Hosting would be $600 a year. They would do it on a private cloud server, do all of the more high-tech things than I would know how to do with it. They would do weekly site and database backups, and that would be both annual. Finally, they would include a complete brand new starter pack for $1,000, which would include a logo development, revisions from that chosen concept that we go with, digital assets in multiple formats, and they would design letterhead, mail, business cards, and email signatures for us to use just to maintain that professional look. And so I think all of this just sends the message that we are a professional, serious organization working towards goals, and first impressions, like I said, can do a lot. So all of this adds up to $9,300, and we are asking the city and the county to split the cost of this investment. Unofficially, we have the city's support. I talked to the mayor, and I'll be giving them the same presentation on Monday at the city council meeting. But proceeding with Imagine This after we acquire the funding, we would give them the go-ahead as of our January 25th EDC board meeting, and they would take 4 to 6 weeks to design it, and then give us the mock-ups for approval and feedback, and then they would take another 2 to 4 weeks to finish it up. So overall, it would take 3 to 4 months to have it done, so it would be done around April or May. And that would be when we would get 30 days of free support. So if I needed to call them and figure something out, if I was having a problem, they would not charge me for learning how to do that. And so lastly, I'll let you know what the plan is to maintain the website, because we do have websites that haven't been maintained. So it will be my job as the EDC director to maintain it. If towns want information updated, they can let me know, or I will fix things that I see that are incorrect or outdated. We would use it to put events on, like the job fair that's coming up on January 25th that the EDC is putting on. And it can even be sustainable, which I should really mention. It has the potential to be a revenue generator for the EDC through the sale of ads, and I can give you more details on that. But the people at this marketing group had people generate over $12,000 in ad revenue alone on their website. So just to summarize, for this price, we would get a website created for us with whatever content we wanted, professional photographs to put on the website, hosting for 1 year with branding, and we get a say in the process while they're designing everything. I think it would be a really worthwhile investment. This is a high quality and very affordable company, and it will help drive economic growth for Shelby County. Do you have any questions for me?
Madison, I did sit in on a conference call when you were interviewing this company.
Yes.
That was early December?
Veterans Day.
Yes, it was. Dang, it's been longer than I thought it would. And they seem like a very competent company. A lot of questions were asked. Bobby?
I don't per se have any questions for you, but very good job of research and information. Just a few comments I'd like to make to the board, though. The EDC, if you recall, back in late summer, early fall last year, I brought the appropriation of the $12,000 the county supports the EDC. I brought that to the full board for discussion and input, mainly because I have a dispute with the relationship of the economic development and the county. The county has many businesses scattered throughout it, but directly affected. Tax revenues could arguably be there, and, support of that. Those things could be argued through running and supporting the EDC. She mentioned 11 communities within the county. My opinion is those 11 communities need to support the EDC, to support their local businesses and to bring those up versus the county. The county really doesn't have a direct affiliation with the business per se. But no, that brings me to the next part of the appropriations, that we've already set the $12,000 that we would budget in our support to the EDC. And like many conversations on the agenda and in the Farming Committee, there's statute that pertains to appropriations, and one of them is that I'll just start out with the definition. In County's Code 55 ILCS 53-7014, which is down towards the bottom of the section. Appropriations. A sufficient sum of money shall be appropriated each year by the county board to carry out provisions of this division in the county. Plain and simple. A sum of money. The next one is further appropriations, barred, transfers. There's a semicolon in there. Basically, this one is the ILCS 555/6-1003, which says further appropriations barred. After adoption of the county budget, no further appropriation shall be made at any other time during such fiscal year except for as provided in this division. The provided in this division is the immediate emergency or capital. I'm sorry, immediate emergency, personnel, and capital. Then, with all that said, we don't have our own website. I think we should get our own website in order before we put money into another website. And if we did put money into this website, what information of ours would be on there? I think you were describing information of the county would be on there, like ordinances and agendas and county board business and information for all the offices of the courthouse. Is that correct?
That would be fine. I'm sure that would be something that could be added.
Okay. And who controls that? Who controls the website specifically? Who is the last person?
I would as the EDC director.
Okay, so then we would relinquish our business to you, not a county official, to control our website. In this situation, I kind of have a problem with that flow of information and control of information. So, with all that said, outstanding work. I just don't see where we need to go with this. I don't see our position.
Have the other villages been contacted at all? I know you said the city of Shelbyville was going to come up with part of it. Have you contacted the other villages?
I have not.
Barb. So the EDC bylaws, there are 29 seats on that board, and every community has a mayor and a councilman, possibly, or something. They all have representation, and I think that big meeting happens quarterly, and then the executive meeting happens monthly. Which the executive meeting includes like the mayor of Shelbyville and the county board chairman. There's a few businessmen within Shelbyville. So monthly, that small group meets, and then quarterly is when the county membership is supposed to meet. So theoretically, at some point in time, this should have been offered out, or at least a word or something should have been put out to the communities.
Do they all attend these meetings?
Now, to the best of my knowledge, no.
Yes.
My understanding is this is for economic development, and it's your title, which really doesn't have a lot to do with the county as far as what is going on in the county as far as when the county meetings are, agendas of the county meetings, which is why without him, I think the county definitely needs to have a website first so that the taxpayers can see what's going on in the county, can see what's going on when the meetings are and things like that. And I don't know that that's the avenue that would satisfy that for the county.
Is there a motion to approve this?
I just had one more question.
Okay.
I just wondered, what is the address for your current site? I would like to look at it.
I'm currently housed at the chamber office. It's at 143 East Main Street.
No, I mean for your website.
Oh, we don't have one for the
Oh,
EDC.
you do not even have one currently?
No.
Okay.
That was kind of the question I had, I guess. Is this like a template that information from county and different stuff gets dropped into through this company, or they're not designing something from scratch here necessarily?
They are designing it from scratch.
Okay.
I have a long background in website stuff. I actually designed my first one on Friday 14. So this is kind kind of in my wheelhouse, I think, understanding a lot of that. And there's a lot of moving parts to all this. I know there's a lot of work to try and dive into. Is there an address for another county that has something similar to this setup that this company's done already? I've seen a lot of the other logos and stuff that's on there, like different companies that they've done, but I didn't see, something that says whatever other county, like 130, another county's already done it, I guess.
I haven't seen anything that they've done for another county, but I know that they did the Effingham Chamber of Commerce, or Effingham County Chamber of Commerce,
So,
and then the
close
Health
then.
Department did it too.
And then you mentioned it was 30 days for who maintains it after that, and what would be the cost of maintaining it?
I'm not sure what the cost would be after that.
So the issue that you'll run into with website stuff, I know you mentioned looking at, if you did it yourself versus when you're starting one off, if you're kind of just shifting all that responsibility off to this other company to design it. Like, I don't know how a lot of this stuff works, so I'm just going to have them do it. Is that you'll find yourself 2 or 3 months down the road, you'll always be coming back to them going, how do I fix this now? How do I fix this now? Versus spending some extra time and really, like the other company that you can kind of do some of it yourself. If you spend the time understanding the basics and being able to kind of do a lot of it yourself, you'll save a lot of time, a lot of headache, a lot of hassle in the end, and a whole lot of money. That's probably the price of that for a company to build something like that's not far out of whack, but it can just be done for a lot less than that. I mean, really, if you study up and learn how to do this stuff, you could probably do it for about $200, really, to be honest. That's not hiring a company to do it. That's whoever, and I don't know how that works as far as your time or what sort of stuff that you do beyond that too, but it's something to consider, because if you learn the basics of how to do all that sort of stuff, you'll save yourself thousands of dollars.
We've been talking about the county website for a long time, and what's been the holdup of why it's never got going? I mean, is there nobody wanting to do it, or?
Well, I had plans of trying to get that addressed here in the near future, but I'm thinking we got to wait until the next budget to be able to appropriate funds for it. So there's nothing we can do now by the way it sounds.
Even the one we've talked about in the past.
If it's not been appropriated, it sounds like there's nothing you can do. So might as well wait until March, April, May to bring up anything along that line for the county. Is there anybody like to make a motion to accept this proposal? Madison, great job. You came with all your ducks in order, very professional. I think we've got a great new director for the economic development. I apologize that you didn't even get to vote.
It's gonna happen or it wasn't, so that's okay.
Okay, well, thank you. Sheriff McReynolds is next. Discussion and vote on dispersal of surplus firearms.
Nicole prepared the resolution that you have in your packet tonight for just quality improvement, best practices for some firearms that were bought in the past for the sheriff's department that are no longer being used, and asking a resolution for the sale or trade of those firearms so we can recoup some of that.
Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion go on? Gary, any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, Bobby?
As it was spoke about in public body comment, the resolution for, and I'm trying to find it here, does specifically say that we deal with firearm dealers. Would that be open to the public in any way? Because
I'm looking to Nicole here. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to accepting.
well, I mean, in comparison, when we sell a surplus police vehicle, it's put up in a publication, sealed bids are pulled in, the bid opening is done, and then the property is relinquished. So I understand that firearms are a unique surplus property, but I think it should be handled in the same fashion.
I doubt if the public will be able to give us the amount of, if it was a trade value, they wouldn't be able to give us, those firearms to trade, but they might be able to pay for them, so.
somebody would have to handle the firearms, make sure they've got
The FOID.
mhm.
I mean, that's up to the sheriff's department, how you'd like to handle it. What we had discussed was possibly trading, especially when it's a large number. It may be more financially beneficial to do that. You can open it up for bids to the public. You also run into problems potentially if somebody had a FOID card that was revoked and that wasn't caught or something, and they end up using a county gun in a crime, for instance, where dealers are more reputable. But it was the sheriff's department's suggestion that we place it with a dealer, I think, for safety purposes, and it would be more financially beneficial.
Still sell to the public, you still have to run through an FFL, that would require the background check and all the process there.
Correct?
But it would be open to the public. And so this resolution is as a lot, a whole, so every firearm is in one lot.
We'd have a lot of man hours in it if we were doing them individually, so I was planning on them going as a lot, yes.
What if you run them through an auction, like a live auction? That's where I just have this going back to public access.
Right.
I like the idea of lots, selling each individual gun. I don't think the sheriff would make any money from it. You would lose money. I mean, they could lose a lot of money on this deal. And I do agree with you, Bobby, that, everybody should be able to. My question is, can somebody with that amount of guns purchase it, just not necessarily like locked and loaded or whatever company it might be, just an individual, would that be against the law? That's the only question I have.
I have a question. The way this is written and stuff, you do want to try to lump it all together.
Yeah.
You don't want to individually
That
have
was
people
how
coming
I
in there
envisioned
looking
it, yes.
at a specific gun.
Yes, we were gonna put it out for bid as an entire lot then.
Okay, has this ever been done? Are you better off to try to sell them as to trade them? If you have to, do you need to buy more guns, is what I'm asking you.
Yes, but there, some of the, and I don't know the answer to that until we get the bids back. We'll see what.
Okay, the part about the auction part, I'm kind of familiar with that, and I think maybe they get 30 or more percent for selling at auction, maybe. And that gets into what you make off of it.
Put a buyer's fee on it.
Pardon me?
Put the
Put a
buyer-
buyer's fee at that. That's another way of doing it, but you're still paying the auctioneer.
We would have to bid out the auction services? to
No,
see-
no, if you take them to Bowers or someplace like that that has gun auctions and stuff, there's a set.
Wouldn't there be other auction services that might give us a better deal on the commissions and we bid that process out?
He's the only one in the area that I know that
Right.
has gun auctions and stuff.
Would you be against this being amended tonight and adding to the general public also?
No, I'm not opposed to that.
Would anybody like to amend? Can we do that? Lynn, I assume we need to make this as we need to amend the main motion, which is the vote on this resolution by adding in to the resolution in any public body, open it up to any public person. My legalese speak is not accurate. I'm going to
For
leave.
private citizens
For
who's
private
authorized
citizens.
to possess firearms.
Kirk, if you have something on that, I would.
I think it's just the term qualified bidder, any qualified bidder.
Would anybody be willing to make that amendment to the motion to add that to it? Rod, would you like to amend the motion?
Yes.
Is there a second to that amendment? Mark? Any discussion on the amendment?
The auction is going through an auction. If you haven't been over to a Bauer auction, the prices of getting out of guns is through the ceiling. It is amazing what guns are bringing.
But I think that also goes into effect what Sheriff McReynolds said about, will we have to bid out that auctioneer to open it up to any gun auction in the state of Illinois? What will they sell them for?
Gun dealer.
Gun dealers, whatever. I think this would be the best, just by amending this motion this way, or this resolution, I should say. Yes, Gary?
I just had a question on the amendment. Are you looking to sell them all individually or as a package?
I thought it was lots.
So it'd still be a lot, okay?
It'd just be one lot, just like it is. The only thing we would be adding would be a legally qualified purchaser. And striking out gun dealer, I'm assuming.
Qualified bidder or qualified purchaser?
Bidder, I guess is what it would be. I mean, to me, bidder and purchaser, they'd be the same thing, one and the same, but like I said, my legal background is very limited. So we now have that reading. Be it resolved that Sheriff Brian McReynolds may sell and/or trade surplus firearms purchased by Shelby County Sheriff's Office as listed and attached to Exhibit A to a licensed firearm dealer or any qualified bidder. That is the amendment to the motion, or the resolution to the motion. It was properly made, it was properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, now we go to vote on the main motion, which now reads as this. So any discussion of the main motion that was just amended? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passed. All right. Anything else, Sheriff McReynolds? Okay, thank you. Number 9 on the ARP expenditure amendment, amending the budget. We're going to not do that tonight. We want to get some hard numbers. There's some new stuff that came in from Bellwether over the weekend that opens up a lot more possible avenues to use this and do things with it and how to bring it in. So we're going to not act on this until next month, correct? Okay.
Brian, I just would like to reiterate and add to that real quick while we're on that the appropriation statute that I referenced earlier, you go about halfway down through it, the exceptions to that is personnel and capital. So when we get into those appropriations discussions, we're talking about wages and things like that. So as far as I'm concerned, reading this, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. It's just,
I'm sure on ARPA side there's a lot.
the state or the federal government basically said over the weekend they broadened the way we can use this money and bringing it in a lump sum. We want to make sure we got everything in our ducks in order on that. Sheriff McReynolds wants to make sure he's getting just what he needs moved into his budget. So we want to get hard numbers from him. We're just going to basically not act on this tonight and bring it to light in a future meeting. Number 10, Jesse Durbin, discussion of vote on approval of board chairman to be the new contact for the FSA office.
Yeah, we don't, right now, we don't have anybody that's a contact person.
We do, but he's no longer on the board.
Yeah. So the committee got together and decided we should have the county board chairman to do it. So at this time, it'd be Brian then, but it has to be somebody that's authority to go in there and sign anything, or if this thing gets to go and certify acres or anything like that. So we thought it wouldn't be ever bad to just leave that on the agenda, even though we don't know what's going to happen on down here, but at least we got a contact person there.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made. Yeah. Seconded by Barb. Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Basically the same thing, Jesse, voting.
Yeah, we don't have a contact person for, we buy crop insurance or anything like that. We need somebody to sign off for the county on that. And we decided again on the county board chairman for that. At this time, that would be Brian.
Bob, second. Dante. Any discussion?
I would like to say that as you notice, there's not a name necessarily associated with it. It is actually saying chairman in case.
I'm not going to be chairman forever, people. I know that for a fact.
And it needs to be from what we understood from them.
Yeah, it's got to be, there's got to be something. All those,
Just one comment, with like with the FSA, you take the minutes of the meeting with, it says the nomination and approval of the board chairman stated as such and such. Then you take those minutes, put them on file with the FSA, then that person is a contact. So it's
fluid.
It's fluid.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Jesse, you want to pull
We're
the
going
next
to
one?
pull that one.
Okay, pulling number 12. Jeff Slifer.
Sorry, Kirk, I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag earlier, but farm committee's running some hurdles, major ones. We're not, legally, we cannot adopt, or not adopt, amend budget, unfortunately, so therefore, want to pull it.
Okay. Number 14, Erica, you would like to have that pulled, okay? So now we're down to the highway engineer report. I guess that falls to me. We're requesting approval for the following. We had bid lettings Friday the 7th. We're looking for the resolution to award the rock bids to the winners, which were Hanson Material Service got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Nokomis Quarry got 2 of the rock, and John Heinzman got 1. Everything was pretty close to where it was last year as far as prices, which was surprising. So we're looking for a motion to approve this resolution. Rod Hyde. Paul Canby, sorry, Bob. All those in favor, well, any discussion?
Are we spending money here or just accepting bids?
Just a resolution to accept the bids. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Then we've got, this is for culverts, I think, wasn't it? What is this? Culverts. Yep. This is for the culverts that were bid, we took the bids on. They're not cheap this year, that's for sure. Looks like Contech Engineering got bands with riveted aluminum for 50, I'm going to call it 55,000, just short of 55. Riveted galvanized came from Metal Culverts Inc. at 16,147. Poly-coated ones were from Metal Culverts for 8,604. Spiral aluminum was Contech Engineered 54,000 and change. Riveted galvanized arched was Contech Engineered 41,000 and change. Looking for a motion to approve this resolution. Don, second. Larry, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Oh. What's this one now? Joint agreement with Idot for funding on the Westfield Bridge replacement project located on North 1525 East Road.
Brian, before you get too far, did we just go through the culvert to match funds on $45,000?
No, we're not there yet.
All right, go ahead.
I'm on the joint agreement with IDOT.
Okay.
There's a resolution here. I'm not gonna be able to explain this as well as Alan always did, I'll be honest with you. We're replacing a bridge at about approximately 6/10 of a mile south of Westerville, known to the Illinois Department of Transportation as MFT section numbers, and project number 7CR. The cost of said improvement has necessitated use of federal funds, and it's going to require a match of federal funds. That's what we're at right now, the $45,000. So that would be a result that Shelby County should authorize $45,000 to match the federal funds to complete the project.
We have two things here.
We have
the
two of them.
agreements,
We
and
have
then
the
we
agreement
have the funding
and the
resolution, yes.
So that was the resolution. So first we need to do the agreement. All right, like I said, I'm not going to be as good as this as Alan was. So first thing we do is need to approve the joint agreement with Idot for the funding project, for funding for the bridge project. Bob, second. Jeff, any discussion? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we're going to be spending money, so this will have to be a voice vote. Which, that was what I just talked about here, I read through. It's $45,000 is our part to do this bridge, or replace. Need a motion to approve this resolution. Jesse, second. Bobby, any discussion? Roll call. All those in favor, use the I word.
Kenny Barr.
Yes.
Barbara Bennett.
Aye.
Mark Bennett.
Aye.
Teresa Bank.
Aye.
Paul Candidate. Brian Kaufman.
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich.
Aye.
Jesse Durbin.
Aye.
Julie Edwards. Gary Gergany.
Aye.
Rod Height.
Aye.
Larry Lenz. Sharon Ongman.
Aye.
Robert Orman.
Aye.
Gary Patterson.
Aye.
Derek Piercy.
Aye.
Robert Simpson. Jeff Slifer. David Switz. Oh, he's not here. Don Tate.
Aye.
Lynn Williams.
Aye.
Matt Kessler. Motion carries unanimously.
All right. We're going to have basically the same thing again here.
We've got two resolutions with that one.
Two of them, okay. So we're looking for joint funding agreement with IDOT to resurface 2.58 miles, beginning of 1875 East Road and end of North 9th Street of County Highway 5, aka Country Club Road. We've been talking about this for several years now, funding for the Country Club Road project. We're starting to get in the final stages. So we got a resolution. So we need a resolution to establish a Class 2 truck route on County Highway 5, which begins north 1875 East Road and end north 9th Street. So that's just a resolution. Need a motion. Denny, Mark will second it. Any discussion? All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we got another resolution to provide matching funds of $117,800 for County Highway 5 resurfacing project.
So moved.
Here's the agreement for that too.
Moved. Second. Denny, any discussion?
Yeah, is that part of the funds that, is Rebuild? Illinois?
Rebuild Illinois, it does not say anything about being rebuilt.
No.
I don't know if this is motor fuel or, I don't believe it's Refund Illinois. This was part of the stuff that Alan had planned. It's that, I think what it is that, that grant that comes through the national, that federal land access program grant is what this money's coming out of.
Yeah, it was over $2 million.
Yes, and we're getting we're getting closer to getting this project started.
And
I think
that was the funds that were, everybody was notified, if you need these funds, and it meets the criteria.
Right.
Then
No. This is something that comes from the federal government for access to federal property.
Okay.
So this is out there going towards the federal property of the Coon Creek and.
This part here is going to go from the edge of, as I understand it, the edge of Shelbyville all the way to
The curve.
Possum Creek.
The curve basically is what.
I think the other money was to go from in town here to meet up with that, isn't it?
That is on Shelbyville, I believe. They were gonna use that money you were talking about that we let out to everybody.
And we made that decision there a while back.
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So this is for $170,800 of funding. It's gotta be a voice roll call vote.
Matching funds.
We've got properly motion and a second. No more discussion or any discussion more? Okay.
Kenny Barr.
Yes.
Barbara Bennett. Mark Bennett.
Yes.
Teresa Bain.
Yes.
Paul Candidate. Brian Kaufman.
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich.
Yes.
Jesse Durbin.
Yes.
Julie Edwards.
Yes.
Gary Gergany.
Yes.
Rod Height.
Yes.
Larry Lenz.
Yes.
Sharon Ongman.
Yes.
Robert Orman.
Yes.
Gary Patterson.
Yes.
Gary Piercy.
Yes.
Robert Simpson.
Yes.
Jeff Slifer.
Yes.
Don Tate.
Yes.
Glenn Williams.
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And I'll just give this update real quick on here. Last meeting, you voted to send Steve DeWitt to take the county engineer test. That is scheduled to be taken, I believe, on the 19th of this month. So hopefully he passes and we can move forward with that. Is there an agreement?
Yeah, these are the agreements to go with that $117,800.
It wasn't, I was just reading over here. So we got an agreement now. Okay, I've been told we got an agreement too. So, like I said, this is a resolution in for agreement. No?
The resolution was a funding resolution to go with the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Don? Second? Kenny? Any discussion?
Yeah. This vote is on what?
The agreement.
The agreement, the joint agreement, I kind of bypassed,
Okay,
did
this
things.
is the joint agreement that,
Should have done the agreement, then the resolution,
then the matching funds.
yes. I did it kind of jumping back and forth.
Okay.
Same exact,
Result.
result, but just, I made my own way of getting there. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Would be a stinker if we didn't pass it, wouldn't it?
It'd be bad. All right. We're good there? Okay. Whew. All right, discussion and vote on hiring of a new county auditor for fiscal year ending August 31st of 2021 with a 3-year contract.
Make a motion to approve the whip-fly holders.
Motion made
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the motion was.
to approve with fly. Seconded by Gary. Discussion.
I'd like to make a few points on auditors. In discussions with our past auditor, they bid us in at right around $45,000 or somewhere near there in a 3-year contract. And basically, long and short of it is, with our situation of our record keeping and how we have a lack of internal controls and things of the nature, basically $80,000 they don't make the cut. Anybody that bids the way they had originally written the contract there's a high likelihood, this is my opinion now, this is not theirs. My opinion is there's a high likelihood that they'll come back and ask for another $40,000 or $50,000 just to finish the first year audit, just the same as we were treated before. So necessarily taking the low bid on this, I don't think was a wise decision. I think an auditor with an MGA is a benefit, and I didn't look at the credentials on Bitfly to determine yes or no if they had the MGA credential, which is a Master's in Governmental Accounting. So from the forensic audit interviews that we did back a long time ago, I remember that Benford had, their partners had MGA credentials. So just a few things that I see as the reason not to go with Whitfly.
I noticed from the contracts, first of all, I didn't put in the addresses, but I did put in the towns, and there's 8 miles difference in how far it is to the 2 towns from Shelbyville, but I didn't put in the addresses, so either one of them could be closer. I felt like, as far as their experience and their people, I didn't see a big difference. One big difference I saw when you go to the page with the prices, the Whipfly price page says this is their maximum price. The other one says this is our estimated time. And the other thing, I guess, that really stood out was they both had a similar amount of hours. The BB&A had 440 hours, and the Whipfly had 470 hours figured. But the hours that they're going to spend on site, the Whipfly had...
What page are you on there, Gary?
Page 9. Whipfly had 335 hours of field work, and BB&A had 192 hours of field work. And the last thing that I saw was Whipfly is currently doing 13 counties in Illinois. I don't see any counties on the list on the other one. I guess I felt it was clearly that Whipfly had all the credentials to do our job.
Yes.
I tend to agree with Gary's last comment. The way I was reading through the fees, if you add all the various audits together, their fees are basically equal. I mean, it's not that we're taking the lowest bid or whatever they all do. We're both almost the same.
$50 a quart.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Did you get a second for that?
And I was just like,
On the issue of auditors, have we ever done the sheriff's office that we're required to do with the leaving of Don?
No idea where that stands right now.
Pardon?
I have no idea where that stands right now. I don't think we've done anything yet.
Coming up to the deadline on that pretty quick.
No.
Pardon?
We're past.
Well, or,
Christmas Day,
yeah, okay.
6 months.
I know that's off the subject, but are we just ignoring that and not going to do anything? Or are we just...
Kind of waiting for the forensic audit to come out.
But that won't count. It's got to be separate from that.
Discussion? Yes.
Is there a reason, Bittenberg and Brown, they gave us bids before on the forensic audit. Is there any reason this other company was not involved in that Whipfly, that they didn't want to bid on it?
My guess would be, and this is just my pure, they do not do forensic audits would be my guess, but I don't know. Which that's not what we're going after here. We're going after just an audit.
No, I understand that.
Is this a professional service that's not have to be bid or like an the RFP? Now I'm thinking myself through my question here. Just bear with me. So we had an RFP that went out, correct? Request for proposal. And then, so these 2 firms are the only ones that responded? Okay.
Yep. Any further discussion? Properly made motion to accept Whipfly. We're spending money. It was seconded. Roll call vote.
Kenny Barr,
Yes.
Barbara Bennett,
Yes.
Mark Bennett,
Yes.
Teresa Bain,
Yes.
Paul Candidate,
Yes.
Brian Kaufman,
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich,
Yes.
Jesse Durbin,
Yes.
Julie Edwards,
Yes.
Gary Gergany,
No.
Rod Height,
Yes.
Larry Lenz,
Yes.
Sharon Ongman. Robert Orman.
No.
Gary Patterson.
Yes.
Derek Piercy.
Yes.
Robert Simpson.
Yes.
Jeff Slifer. Don Tate.
Yes.
Lynn Williams.
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Motion carries 18 yes, 3 no, Gergany, Ongman, Orman.
Don, you're up next.
Okay, you, as a roads board packet, there was a minutes of the June 10th closed session. After reviewing those in discussion with Nicole, there was no reason that the legislative committee could come up with not to open those minutes to the public. So I so moved that they be open.
Second.
Barb, second. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Could you repeat the motion?
The motion is to open the June 10th, 2021 closed session minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Any committee updates?
Yeah, the rescue squad and the dive team would like to invite every one of you next month to their meeting. They would like to give you a little bit of information, what they do, some of the problems it's where they get called in on, and for the 911 system. Also to show you equipment from the dive and rescue squad, you know, what the new, you know, with these new electric cars, you know, there's a lot of science that goes into these. Each model is different. So they would like to invite every board member for next week. I believe that's the 9th. Hold on here.
Is this the February one?
Yes.
That's the 7th. At least that's
Yeah,
what I told you.
yeah, it's February 7th. It's 6 p.m. and that would be at the fire station. Okay, and also the rescue squad, there was a fatality, they were called out. And just to let you know that they had 7 different calls last month. And the dive team, you know, here again, we're going through training. They went through CPA, first aid, and bloodborne pathogens. So that's my report. Denny.
Lynn, as we get closer to that date, could you send out an email to all of us just
Sure.
reminding us?
Sure.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other committee reports?
Go ahead, Jay.
We all, I'm assuming everybody got email for timesheets from the health department. I got a hold of Steve. We discussed it. Steve didn't see what the problem was. It was kind of lack of communications there somewhere. It was over holiday pay. We've decided to put a column on the outside that could be marked holiday, where there's no more confusion, I guess. So that's hopefully been resolved.
Don?
Got an email from the contact person with Crony about elevators, and supposedly all of the parts are produced. It's a matter of when they get shipped, and then they'll try to schedule around our needs or our
when they
can't be in here because the elevator has to function for court or whatever.
Okay. Yes, you may.
I just want to let the board know and those office heads, I sent you an email. I'll be getting your statement of economic interest sheets out. Please read them carefully as the questions have changed. I don't think the responses will probably work to be none or NA with the way the questions have changed, so just please read those carefully when I get them out. Also, Bobby brought this up, I believe, last month. I sent an email out today. I got a notice regarding Grain Belt Energy, the power line that's going to go through Shelby County. They're going to have their first public meeting in Strasburg, February 9th, 10 to noon at the Strasburg Community Center. I sent it out to all of you. I also sent it to the media so that hopefully the public can get notified about this, but they're making plans to go right through Shelby County, so, you know, make sure that you attend the meetings.
Any other committee reports?
Brad, and I'd just like to make a few comments on behalf of the Farm Committee, and that is, we're working. We've hit numerous stumbling blocks, roadblocks, and you know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, we've been very fluid and liquid in our discussion and research and such. But hopefully, in the near future, we have something to bring to the full board and be active on that. So, any questions? There's 5 of us. Any questions?
That reminds me too, I've already sent an agenda in for Tuesday. That's gonna be all in the wash. So if anybody on here wants to send in to her something you want on the agenda now, that'd be all right with me, Jessica.
Yeah,
They need to,
does that mean it's going to be Tuesday? Yeah, just get it to me tomorrow, because we'll be closed Monday.
but everything on there will not pertain to, you know, the topic. We ought to just leave it the same, and if you get sent to you, get it.
Any other committee reports? I don't have any updates. Chairman appointments. I'm going to butcher the last name. Richard Glody. Is that right?
You did good.
Get floating.
Okay. Mental Health 708 Board.
I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Eric Tucker, Cowden Fire Department Trustee.
I'll make it.
Barb,
I'll say.
Bob. Discussion.
Just out of curiosity, is there any term limits to that, or, because I don't know.
3 year.
3 years, okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Brian Reynolds to Shelby Christian 911 Board for a 1-year term, public sector. Denny? Paul? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, man. Sharon Ogman?
Perfect.
Did I get it right?
You got it.
Yes, you did. You did good.
Miscellaneous Ambulance and Committee.
I'll make it.
Mark? Barb will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Correspondence, I don't know if you sent that out to everybody on the drug court invitation.
I did.
So everybody got a drug court invitation. I've heard it's a great thing.
Yeah.
If you can get there, please go.
When is that?
The 28th at 1,
28th at 1.
right here.
That's a good deal.
I don't have any other correspondence. One thing I was going to bring up, which Madison Bruns brought in, was the training for the in Idris that Troy Agnew is helping with that from the EMA here. So that was one thing I was going to bring up. Sharon?
I guess this is a time to say it, because I was talking to somebody within my district, and we had a discussion, and one of the things is, what, any of the towns in this county, what if we would have one of those devastating tornadoes or any kind of disaster like was in Kentucky? Does the county have plans? Do they actually know what to do if something would happen? Does the public know what to do if something would happen? Is it something maybe for next month's agenda that somebody could tell us what the plans are?
Go ahead, Bobby, if you know.
Denny, you want to tackle this, or do you?
I mean, hopefully it never comes to that, but.
Well, there is, so I'll just throw out a cliff notes. If Troy was here, basically what he would say is, Troy is our EMA director for the county. If we have a mass devastation like Kentucky, then the EMA director from Shelby County would reach out to the state EMA. Then the state EMA then would start funneling supplies and stuff into Shelby County. So there is a chain of events that happen, and yes.
That's kind of what happened with Taylorville when they had that one.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, we're just.
Garrett, they even called Garrett over there to help with that.
Yep. In that situation, our EMA director went to help their EMA director, which was then supported by state EMA, or EMA,
Along with that, county highway crew, several townships joined together over there to help clean up.
Okay,
what
so
they
there
did.
is some kind of plan there that they know what to do. Okay, very good.
Payment of claims.
Excuse me, Ron.
Yes, Mark, I'm sorry.
Moran for a second.
Oh,
I would like to make an announcement that I was able to hire and bring on an undersheriff. The undersheriff is David Pruitt now at the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. Recently came to us from the Decatur Police Department where he was a detective supervisor, so he brings a lot of criminal experience to our department, and he's eager and already gotten to work for us, so thank you.
Good.
all right, payment of claims.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Mark? Discussion? All those in favor? Oh, roll call, yes it is.
Kenny Barr,
Yes.
Barbara Bennett,
Yes.
Mark Bennett,
Yes.
Teresa Bay,
Yes.
Paul Kennedy, Brian Kaufman,
Yes.
Dennis Sturnovich,
Yes.
Jesse Urban,
Yes.
Julie Edwards,
Yes.
Gary Gergany,
Yes.
Rod Height,
Yes.
Larry Lenz,
Yes.
Sharon Ongman,
Yes.
Robert Orman,
Yes.
Gary Patterson,
Yes.
Derek Tersey,
Yes.
Robert Simpson,
Yes.
Jeff Slifer,
Yeah.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Lynn Williams,
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Motion to adjourn.
Move.
Larry and Jeff, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Everybody have a safe day.